In this video, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress on your own self-hosting account. So there's a couple options in which you have to install WordPress. Well, you can go to wordpress.com and use their free service, but then you're running WordPress on their server and you will have restrictions in terms of the themes you can install. Themes are just WordPress templates. In terms of ads you may want to place, and ultimately you will not be building your own domain name. So what we want to do is we want to actually install WordPress on our own servers, and to do that you have to A, first register your domain name, and B, then you have to buy web hosting. Now web hosting for 99% of sites will require basic hosting packages, and you're looking at maybe $5-6 a month max. Domain name will cost you between $9 and $10 per year. So what we want to do is we want to download the WordPress installer, which is basically just a file that includes all the WordPress files that create the WordPress site. So we're going to download it, and then we're going to upload it to our web server where we rent space to put our website up online. Okay, so we go to wordpress.org, and it's pretty simple. You just go to download WordPress. We're recording this in 2013 January, so this is the current version. You may be watching this in the future, so you may have 3.6 or 4.0, etc., but the process is going to be pretty much the same. So we're going to hit download. We'll just click download, and we're just going to download the zip version 5.2. If you know what the tar.gz version is, then you can download that. That's for Linux users, but for Windows and Mac users, you can just download the zip version. So I've downloaded it. I'm downloading it. You see down here, it's appearing here. On your web browser, you may see the download and some others part of your screen. It's a pretty big file, and so far we're at 4 meg. So depending on how fast your internet connection is, it could take 30 seconds or a couple minutes to download. So we've downloaded about 5 meg file. Was 5.2 megs is right here. Not so bad. So we're going to then show this. So I'm going to take it to my desktop so it's just easy to find. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our website. So in this case, the website is called www.aquaturtles.com. So what we're going to do is we need to log into the aquaturtle.com's control panel. If you don't know what that is, you have to ask your hosting company and they'll tell you what that is. Now, there are different control panels depending on your hosting company, but the majority of them will use something called cPanel. This is pretty standard. If you don't use cPanel, it doesn't really matter because the procedure you're learning here is going to apply to any control panel that your hosting company may provide. Again, your hosting company will provide that for you, but for our demos, you type in the name of your domain, and 2083. Now this is if you have cPanel installed, and this is a very popular, as I said, a very popular control panel. So then you enter your username and password, and again, you get this from your hosting company. You may use another control panel called Plesk. Very similar though. Again, it will look different, but the process is going to be very similar. So we've logged in here to the control panel for AquaTurtles, and there's a couple of things you need to do to get WordPress up and running for your website. The first thing you have to do is you have to upload the WordPress zip file. This zip file here, we have to upload that onto our server. So the way to do that in cPanel is we're going to use the file manager. And the file manager is a program inside the cPanel that allows you to upload and download files, rename files, and do all kinds of other things. Now Plesk has something similar. If you don't have a file manager, you want to use something called FTP. You see that we have FTP here. I'm not going to get into FTP in this video since this is not a video on how to use the control panel, but again, you ask your hosting company, you tell them you want FTP files, they should point the way for you. Okay, so we're going to go into the file manager. I'm going to have to re-log in again. So let's log in to the file manager here. Let's use the file manager program, and it's going to ask you, do you want to go to home directory or the web root? We're going to go to the web root. the web root is basically where all your web files are going to go, and that includes your WordPress files. So we're going to hit go. So this is the web root. The web root is typically in a directory called public_HTML. So what we need to do now is upload. I'm going to go to the upload button. We're going to upload our WordPress files. So now we're uploading the files. You see starting upload right here, bottom right. So we've uploaded the files. And now we don't see anything here back in the screen, but I'm just going to hit this reload button. And there it is. Now what we have to do now is we have to unpack it from this zip file. You see, a zip is a package. It's like a box that we put files into. And the reason you put files in a zip folder like this in a zip file is because you want to, it just makes it easier to move many files around. So what we're going to do here is we're going to right click and we're going to say extract. It's asking us here, where do you want to extract it? And I'm saying, and by default it goes into the same folder where your zip file is. In this case, it's in the public_HTML folder. So it's extracted all these files. It's all here, and it's in a folder called WordPress. There are two ways you can install WordPress on your site. You can install it so that it's on the root of your site. So let's say you're killersites.com. You can install WordPress right here. Or you can install it in a subdirectory like the blog directory, and you can install it in the subdirectory. It doesn't make too much of a difference, except it depends on how you want to use WordPress. If you want to use WordPress to control your entire site, like we do on csstutorial.net, this is WordPress right here. This is total WordPress. And if you want to do that, then you need to install WordPress right inside of the public HTML folder or your web root folder. But if you want to install WordPress like we did on, well, for instance, on Killer PHP, here's the blog. This is not WordPress here. So let's say you wanted to install WordPress in a part of your website. Let's say you want to install it in an articles section. You would create a folder called articles and you stick it in here. For instance, right now the WordPress files are in a folder called WordPress. So if we were going to go to Aquaturtles, and we assume that this WordPress was installed. Let me show you. If we go to, here's Aquaturtles. There's nothing there. We can actually see, we're at aquaturtles.com. You can see this file, WordPress-3.5 type.zip, WordPress. Now if you look, it's showing us right here, it's the same thing. Now, so you notice there's a / after WordPress. There's a / here because that's the browser telling us that this is another directory. So look at that, see? You got WordPress, and this, because this is a zip, there's no /. So if you want, right now, this is we call this the root of the website, aquaturtles.com. This is the first page, the home page of the website. And because there's no HTML files there, and because WordPress is not installed there, this is what we see. So if we wanted WordPress to be in a subdirectory, we could, right now, because it's in the folder called WordPress, right? It's in WordPress. We click through. So now this is the WordPress program saying, see, you didn't configure WordPress properly, so it's giving you this message. So you can, I guess you can click right here. So you can create the, yeah, so it's giving you, well, it's just giving you an instruction. You have to go into the files, which are in this folder here, and you're going to have to change this wp-config PHP file. So now we have to decide, do you want Aquaturtles WordPress to be in a subdirectory as we have it here, or do you want it to be on the root right here? Okay, so what we have to do then is we're going to have to take these files out of WordPress, out of the WordPress folder, and stick it on the root. You see all these files. So what we're going to do is we're going to select them. Start at the top, you hit the shift key. In this case, you got them all selected. Now they turn blue, so we know they are selected. Now we right click and we want to go to move. So hit move. So it's saying you want to move all these files here. So these are all the files. Where do you want to put them? So we want to put them right in public HTML. So we're telling it right here, public HTML. And we click move. So you see they're gone now. They were in the WordPress folder. So we're just going to go click this button up one level. So up one level of the folder hierarchy. This may be a little confusing for you, but just understand that there's a folder hierarchy. So if we go in here, let's see, this is like a folder hierarchy, one folder inside of another folder. So public HTML is the top folder, because in public HTML is under this home AquaTurtle folder. It's the web root. The root directory is actually this one here. If you were on Windows, it would be like being on C:/. So then, now under home/AquaTurtle, you have another directory called public_HTML. The way the server is set up, this is the web root directory. Remember, we mentioned that before. So in this folder is all the web files. So now we're in the root of this particular folder. So now what we want to do is we're going to look for this file here, wp-config-sample.php, because we're going to have to put in our settings for our database so that we can get WordPress up and running. But we're going to discuss that in the next video.